What's good, guys? Welcome back to All About Arsenal, and today it is done. Viktor Gyökeres is now going to be an Arsenal player, and as we know, that is music to the ears of lots of Arsenal fans, but terror to our rivals. So let's get into it. Fabrizio Romano has actually confirmed, and now all of a sudden, every time I see a tweet from him, I'm like, oh my gosh. I know every other Arsenal fan is feeling the same way. It has been reported that the agents of Viktor Gyökeres have landed in London to finalise the deal. And as you know, it was a 63.5 million euro deal, and that roughly equates to about 55 million pounds in sterling, and that is a wonderful deal. But I want to look at Andrea Berta, the genius, the Italiano genius, and how he actually pulled this off. So let's get into it. One of the things you have to rate about Berta and actually give him his props for is the way he's able to connect with the players. As we know, and it's not an uncommon thing in football, before teams actually agree a fee with the actual club, they settle personal terms with the player. And he always approaches the player first, which they all do. But what is so special in the way that Andrea Berta has got this deal over the line and many others, it's his connection with people. We're not privy to what the conversations are, but what I can see from a comparison to Edu, and no disrespect to Edu, he did a decent job, is the way Andrea Berta is able to get into the minds, the psyche of these players. Haven't you not noticed this pattern? All of the players we've got, whether it's now Mosquera, which has also been confirmed as well. We've got the here we go from Fabrizio Romano about Mosquera. So Mosquera, Gyökeres, and even Eze. Have you all noticed how all of them, they've said one thing: they only want Arsenal. They only want Arsenal. They only want Arsenal. And why is that so clever from Andrea Berta? It means that now other teams cannot get involved in a deal and potentially drive the price up. Clubs love it when somebody wants their player and there's a bidding war. They're rubbing their hands because they're thinking, yo, I'm going to make so much money from this transaction. But Andrea Berta has a way of convincing and whispering in the ears of the players something sweet about what they're going to experience at their time at Arsenal. Because that's one of the things I was looking at this, I'm thinking, wow, he really has a way with people. All of them say, I only want Arsenal. So it makes the deal so much easier for Arsenal to structure and get over the line because there's no other competitors. If a player says, I only want this particular team, then that team that they're currently playing for has no choice but to structure a deal, especially when the player has expressed they want to go. That's why I'm even more confident about getting Eberici Eze over the line. And we will. Now we've got Mosquera done. Eze, if we can get Eze done by the end of this week, pre-season, whoa! What are we talking about? Danger is coming to other teams in the Premier League. So well done to Berta for that. Another thing you have to rate Berta for is the patience. His patience. I was on the bandwagon of, listen, get this done. It's only a couple of million. Let's just get it done. Come on, Berta. And I think that's what was frustrating a lot of Arsenal fans, the fact that you've gone to get Noni Madueke, a player that we didn't really want. Yes, we agreed we needed a backup to Saka, but this wasn't the guy that we wanted. That's why Arsenal fans were so frustrated, because you pay 50 million. He's also from Chelsea as well, and you prioritized him over a number 9, which is what we desperately needed. But patience is a virtue, as the old saying says. And this is the mastermind of Andrea Berta. No matter what the sporting president was saying on Saturday, basically saying in a nutshell that we're not going to be bullied, man. You cannot do this to us, man. We're going to get a fair price for Gykeres, man. What happened? Next day, all of a sudden, everything's moving and is now sealed. Patience is very, very important, especially when you're in the driving seat. Andrea Berta was negotiating from a place of power, position. The player already wants to come to Arsenal. The player has dumped his girlfriend. The player has given up some of his salary. The player has refused to come to pre-season training. The player only wants to go to Arsenal, which I've already said. So you already know that we are in pole position. We are in a position of power. So why do you want to give up that position? See how powerful this man is, even to the point we got the deal over the line because the agents, as we know, they decided to drop their commission fee, and that is big. That is them getting paid. Why do I say that is so big and the power that Berta has? This is Gyökeres' last big move. He's on a 5-year deal. This is his last big move. He ain't going to leave Arsenal unless it doesn't work out there, which I don't see that happening. Those agents, that's the most money they're ever going to make, but they decided to drop it to get over the line. That is power and influence. And that's one of the things about Berta we just gonna have to rate and give him his props for. Another thing about Berta which he did was so awesome is the way he drove down the price. Because you have to realize that initially Gyökeres had about 100 million value on his head. 100 million euros, 100 million euros. And that was probably roughly about, top of my head, like 85 million in sterling. So the fact that you've got from 85 million to 55. Think about that. Berta's coming and he's saved us money on a prolific striker. Everybody argues that he should have got the golden boot for, you know, amongst the European footballers. But obviously because the Portuguese league is outside of the big league, so that's why he didn't get considered. There's all a bit of politics and whatnot. But he is so prolific. And for him to actually make a saving on that, Andrea Berta, you've got to give him his props. However, the Noni Madueke deal, I personally don't think that was Andrea Berta that had, I don't think he was a driving force. I believe that was Arteta. I think now we can kind of see where Andrea Berta has his hand in and is more Arteta. I definitely believe for Norgard, that's probably a mixture of both. For Mosquera, that was all Andrea Berta personally. Madueke, I believe that was Arteta that wanted to push that one over the line. Another thing about Berta where you got to appreciate his genius. And I'm so happy it was Gyökeres. I didn't want Sesko. Sesko is young, he's up and coming. I still think he has about 2-3 seasons to prove himself. It would be great for him to go to possibly the Italian league and see how he does there against more defensive structures. That's why I rated Viktor Osimhen so much, because he killed it when he was at Napoli. But let me not get sidetracked. I will not digress. So what was I saying? Yes. So he's gone for a player in Viktor Gyökeres who firmly fits the structure of what Arsenal are looking for. When you can see a player like Haaland, I'm not trying to compare them, the strength, the power, they are goal scorers, and Arsenal lack that. How many times in the previous season just gone, Saka will whip in good balls, and you see Saka will get frustrated. You turn around and be like, oh, not again. Nobody was there to finish it. Nobody was there to put it away. Nobody was there. There was no fox in the box, and that's what we need. And Viktor Gyökeres fits what we need. He presses high. He's quick. He's aggressive, and he always wants to score goals. And it came to a point, if you saw how Arsenal were playing, it's like sometimes these guys were goal shy and afraid to pull the trigger. We like, Odegaard shoot, he wouldn't shoot. You get into good scoring positions. It was like there was a fear to score goals. But when you've got someone like Viktor Gyökeres leading the front line and scoring goals, is only going to ooze confidence, breed confidence, and instill confidence in the other Arsenal players and Arsenal forwards that, yo, we can do something. A lot of haters are actually saying, oh, this wasn't a good window for Arsenal so far. I think this is a good window for Arsenal so far. It kind of reminds me what Berta did at Atletico Madrid, how he kept it on the wraps with João Pedro and Griezmann, and he got them quick, clinical finishes over the line for Atletico. And he's doing the same for Arsenal. Now we know that Mosquera and Gyökeres is now, yes, we've got them through the door. The last part of the puzzle, Eberici Eze. And some people are saying we're not going to get this deal. We will. And the reason why I say this, do not forget that Fabrizio Romano famously said that the deal for Eze was outside the business of Madueke and all the other players we're trying to bring in. Now, with Gyökeres in, how does that look to somebody like Eze? Wow, this is going to be an amazing season. I want to be a part of that, gaffer. So I do believe we're going to get Eberici Eze over the line. And I value him, I rate him, I prioritize Eze well over Rodrigo. Definitely. Eze is Premier League proven. There is no team, there is no football pundit, football fan that doesn't rate Eze. They all rate Eze. He's Premier League proven. He's a goal scorer, right? He's creative. And he can play in that number 10 position, or he can play on the left as well, which is another weak side for Arsenal. If we get Eze over the line, that is a wonderful, fantastic window for us. If Andrea Berta is able to work his magic on Rodrigo, because he's very familiar with the Spanish league and how they operate. If it gets to the point that Rodrigo only wants to go to Arsenal and has expressed desire to only go to Arsenal, Berta will get that over the line, and I believe it will be a deal we'll be able to do. However, we'll have to offload some dead wood. That'll possibly be Trossard most likely because of his age. Fabio Vieira, Lokonga, Reece Nelson, and I know I'm forgetting a few others. Tierney, what happened with Tierney? Has he already gone? Do you know what? That is so poor of me. I haven't even looked about Tierney. It's like he just fell off the radar. But yeah, it's going to be a great preseason. And you know what? If we can get Eze this week, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Why am I saying that? Because of preseason. And we know that Arsenal's going to go to East Asia, isn't it? We're going to East Asia. We've got about 3 friendlies lined up as well. And then we've got the Emirates Cup. And I'll be going to a couple of those games. But let me know what you think in the comments. How excited are you over Viktor Gyökeres and Mosquera? And do you think Eze is the final piece of the puzzle? Thanks for tuning in. And until the next time, as always, peace.